Sorry. Okay.
Are you guys able to hear me okay?
Can you hear us?
Yep. Loud and clear.
You're Weston, huh?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, Commissioner Christensen, I wasn't here last time to hear this, but I understand they had denied it, but wanted to give you the opportunity. You understand Board of Equalization hearing is where you have a chance to come in if you disagree with them. But the standard of proof is you have to be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. That's a legal term on different, what weight you give to the evidence. So it's a pretty high degree of weight that you have to show why you think or why your claim is true, that this is your personal residence. So, and I understand you've got a little more information from the last time that, so maybe we'll let you give any new information you've got first, and then we'll go through the assessor's outline of what they got, and then give you a chance to respond if you have any evidence that contradicts her evidence.
Yeah, and Commissioner Christian, before he does, can I just say something? Mr. Kilpack, I was the one that took care of it last time for you, and you had asked some questions at the end that made me wonder a little bit too. And I wanted to make sure that we had it correct. And so I wanted to have our attorney review it. I wanted to review the statute. And so, you know, I apologize if I wasn't quite comfortable last time, even after we made the decision, but I wanted to be sure that we were accurate, you know, and given you the right information. And so that's when I came back and requested that they review this again. And of course, you know, now we've got our chairman here who has a lot more experience than I do, but I you scheduling this with us again. So
Sure.
I'll let you.
And you are Commissioner. I can't remember if you're Walker or Commissioner Reed.
I'm Reed.
Commissioner Reed. Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead, because I haven't heard it before. So go ahead and tell me why you think they erred in pulling this homeowner's exemption.
Oh, so just in brief terms, I think that they're gonna pull the exemption back to 2019. And in that year, my wife and I lived in the house all the way up till at least August, September. So they were saying to pull the exemption for the whole year. I started dental school in 2019. But then with COVID and everything, we were back and forth between the house for the next couple years. And then this year, 2022, will be the first full year where we haven't been in the home for at least part of the year. So that's kind of the backstory.
Okay, well, I think a lot of this will come out in Mary Lou's report, so I'll save some of these questions about, apparently you had it listed as an Airbnb.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We opted to do that so that it just wasn't vacant sitting there. And I kind of, and last time, our Airbnb, it's like, we have intent to move back to Idaho Falls. That's why we haven't sold the home or anything. So it's really just a middle ground for us until we can move back, because we came here just purely for school.
Okay, do you
want me to start from the beginning, or do you want me to start from the last Zoom meeting that we had?
I'd like you to start from the beginning, because this is basically a new
Okay.
hearing, and
Well,
then I need to hear it.
okay, all right, that's fine. Well, I was contacted by the Idaho State Commission back in February 9th, stating, well, they wanted to know if there was a homeowner's exemption on the property. Okay, and I looked it up and there was, and she says, well, It is listed as a Airbnb and the reviews started back in 2019. So
When in 2019?
well, I did print some of the reviews. But after the meeting, I went back to find out when, and it's been taken down. July of 2019 is the one I first started with.
That's when you were notified,
No,
or that's when the state?
that's when the first review on the Airbnb was listed, was July 20 of 19.
And the state reviews those and sent you
The state called me on February 9th and says that this home is classified as an Airbnb and it shouldn't have a homeowner's exemption
February 9th of,
this year, 2020.
2020.
2022.
2022. But when I went on the Airbnb and found it, I printed some of them off and it started back in July of 2019 as being an Airbnb.
Okay.
Okay, and of course, I took the homeowner's exemption off, sent out the necessary letters to him. It never came back. Contacted them, contacted the Idaho State Commission to see if there was any other addresses, since I didn't get the additional letter back. And they said, well, there is an address of 7708 South 8th West. So then that's when I mailed out the certified letter, both to the Vanguard address and to the second address, both certified. And I received the certified letter back on the Vanguard address as unable to deliver. Thank you. I was just going, unable to deliver. And then
Vanguard being the home.
the Airbnb, Mr. Kilpack's.
Home. Yeah, house.
Okay.
The other
Yeah.
address is my parents' address. I grew up.
Yeah, so then on March 2nd, I received a call from Mr. Kilpack, which is his father, Kevin Kilpack, wanting to know what it was, because he signed for the certified, and I explained to him, he said he would get a hold of Weston and let him know. And so, and I think it was the same day, yes, Weston, you called me and I explained everything to you, and you want to know if there's anything you could do about it, and I said it have to be with the commissioners, so I transferred you over to set up a meeting. And then that was on March 2nd. And I also informed you that the deadline was March 24th. And by state law, I have to file an intent to lien against the property, which I did on March 24th, just to let you know. Doesn't mean there's a lien, it's just saying that there's going to be a lien after the taxes come out in 2023. We have to wait a year.
Right.
Okay,
And the commissioners at the last one in the email I got said that it would be postponed until we had it resolved at this meeting.
in Idaho statute, it says I must, or I shall,
Well, you'll do that after we come to the conclusion of this hearing.
Okay.
already been done because the deadline was the 24th.
Oh, okay.
And it says
So-
in the Idaho statutes that I shall file an intent to lien. And I can take it off,
Okay,
you
so
know,
you've just filed an intent. to lien.
an intent to
But
lien,
not a lien.
not a lien. It's an intent to lien. Okay,
So-
and then we had our meeting on March 10th and the commissioners decided that probably do 50% of the penalties and fees. And then Commissioner Reed decided that we better just maybe do some more checking and talk to our legal counsel. Okay, and so we did. I contacted the Idaho State Commission. No tax returns has been done for 2021 as of March 11th. I don't know if you've done them now or not, but 2020, too many 20s. 2020 tax returns listed 7708 South 8th Street as the address that they were filing from.
That's the parent.
That's the parents. And Idaho State Tax Commission also stated that other people at the Vanguard address was filing from that address. I don't know who, because they can't give me names. I contacted March 15th, I contacted the motor vehicle department and the driver's license. And their driver's licenses, well, Weston's and registration are on the parents' home. And then the breakdown was contacted motor vehicle and driver's license and was using the home of his parents. And Blake Mueller, who is the assessor, mailed you, Weston, did you get that email? Asking for additional information?
I thought that was just what this, in that email, it just talked about the address to my parents.
Okay.
And it was for this meeting.
I thought I was informed that he emailed you asking for any additional information, but that's okay. And then
I can look at-
we redid the Zoom meeting for today, actually for Friday, but then it got changed till today. I did speak with Jill Sanders at the Idaho State Tax Commission. She's the one that first called me back in February. And she says that Weston and Greta filed income taxes for 2019 and 2020 with a Schedule E, claiming the fair rent days for the home on Vanguard was 366 days available and personal use days was 0.
That's 2019
And 20.
and 20.
Hmm.
Okay. And 21 hasn't been filed.
Well, as of March,
No, 21's not been filed yet. It's in the process.
yeah, I don't have anything on for 2021.
Okay, now, let's see, this email also says that on the return, they used the parent's address.
Mhm.
On
On
the tax
what-
return.
The tax return, they use the parent's address.
Have you filed as any part-time residence for California at all?
I believe 2019 and 2020 were both filed in both states. Yeah.
Both states?
Yep.
How do you explain the Schedule E showing 365 days marked as rental?
Yeah, I'd have to check on that with my dad. He does all my he's my CPA, so I'd have to check on how he did that and the reasoning why. But we definitely lived there in 2019, and like I said, in 2020 it makes sense where the home was on Airbnb throughout the year. We were just coming back and forth with COVID and my school going online for several months at a time. So I can see that for 2020. And in this meeting, my intent was never to totally just waive this this tax. It was just to at least cover, the 2019 year where we were there for the majority of the year. And even in 2020 where we were in and out of the home, numerous times. Because my school here would go off and on where we'd go in person and we'd go out of person, or we'd go in person, then we'd go online and we'd go home for 2-3 months. We'd come back to school for 2-3 months, go home for a month or two. So like I said, my intent was never just to get rid of the whole thing. It's really just to minimize, going the full tax.
Right. Here's one concern I've got, because when you have to hit that clear and convince, there's certain levels of, one could be the preponderance of evidence. When you hit clear and convincing, there's only one step of higher proof. It's called beyond a reasonable doubt. But you're, by statute, you're required to present evidence that's clear and convincing. Right now, here's where I'm conflicted, because you've got a Schedule E with the 366 days marked as,
Right.
As business use, whether it's you signed the tax returns.
Sure.
Have you got anything to counter that? Because that's the document that we're comparing it with to show that you were there. And then I think one of the other emails showed that you claimed like total rent of $33,000.
Sure. Okay, so what documents, obviously I don't have anything with me at the moment, but which documents would I need to present you to?
It'd have to be something that was stronger proof than the Schedule E signed by you that said it was used 366 days. And also you were filing tax returns with California being a part-time resident.
Yeah. Would it be, would this be sufficient if I perform and get the documentation of me paying the electricity and water bill for the entire year?
Probably not, because as an Airbnb or as a landlord, you'd have to do that.
Sure. So I guess my question to you and Commissioner Reed is just what, like I said, last time I was just asking for you guys' help. I'm not really trying to like go through a major thing with you guys. I'm just asking for your help on how to achieve this. I'm not like some crazy guru trying to just rig the system. I'm just trying to, you know, avoid this, you know, $5,500 expense that just popped up on me. So, and I'm not even trying to avoid the whole thing. So that's why I was kind of asking you guys what you can do to help me, even if it's, you know, I know last time they did 50% off the fees, a couple $100. But I think you understand the real question I'm asking. It's just what you guys can do to help me so I can better look for what documents I need and whatnot.
Yeah, I understand it's hard to understand what documents you could have to prove that other than your word. But when we met last time, you indicated that in 2020, you were there more than 6 months out of the year because your school was shut down for an extended time and you were home doing school.
Yep.
Is that correct? I mean, is there anything to show? You didn't receive mail at that address. Is there anything to show that you were there more than half the year in 2020? Well, and 2019, because you said you lived there from January until August of 2019, correct?
I mean, while with Airbnb, you can, you know, pay for the utilities and things, I would have proof of that for both years. Proof of internet there for both years. But I can look into it and get back to you guys with what I can come up with.
Well, quite frankly, I don't think either one of those would prove that this was owner occupied by you. Especially when the stronger proof is a document signed that you rented it for 366 days out of the year, according to the Schedule E. Because if I run a calculator on that, you know, that's 33,000 for half a year. That's pretty good rent. You know?
Yeah, Airbnb is significantly more expensive than just a normal, you know, monthly rental. Obviously, that's why we do it versus just a normal, you know, year rental.
You have
But
do you
it's
have anything from Airbnb that shows the days it was rented? Only the days it was occupied by a renter.
I might be able to find something like that. Yeah.
The other side of that, though, is you'd have to have something to show that the days that it wasn't, you were there.
So I guess what
Like a schedule that you blocked it out for personal, you know, if you're going to be there for a couple months and you do it, you block it off as not available.
Yeah. So I mean, at least for 2019, where that first review's in July, would that be sufficient for 2019 over 6 months on that?
What have you got? And is that, can you show that that's when you started the Airbnb was July?
Yeah, like if I go on here and look at, you know, the app I have, I did when she pulled up the reviews. I went to my oldest review. And looks that it's July 7th to July 8th. But I mean, other than that, other than just like a review, I mean, I can see if I can go back in that calendar year and look at the specific dates. I'd have to
So-
look into that and get back to you guys.
So, excuse me for interrupting you, but that is a bit of a conflict because you said you lived there until August or September of 2019. So if you guys were living there, why do you have a review in July of 2019?
Yeah, so I mean, when I go back, it looks like we would have moved out in July then, if that's when the review is. I mean, I don't have the exact dates in my head, but I mean, July, August, it's pretty similar.
Okay,
Anything else?
Just on the reviews, the first one that I got showing is July of 2019, and then there's an August of 2019, but it cut it off. And so I've got 4 of them here. 2 in 2019, 2 in 2021 that I printed off. I just wanted to show that it started in 2019, but there's 80 reviews. So I don't know if, but like I said, I tried to get back on and it's been taken down. I can't find it anywhere. So I, 80 reviews in 3 years.
I'm still as concerned, if anything, as you signed the tax return made out by your tax preparer. On those you sign under the penalty of perjury, and it says 366 days with 0 for private use. I fill those out every year, so I'm quite familiar with them. That's a hard thing to get around, where you've signed the tax return stating that's accurate.
Sure. And I'm sorry, Commissioner, tell me your last name again, so I can
Reed.
remember. One sec, Reed,
Reed and then Christensen.
Commissioner Christensen. Okay. Yeah, well, let me look what I can do. I'm very appreciative of you, Commissioner Reed. You've helped me out a bunch. And I mean, I guess for you, Commissioner Christensen, what can you, seems that you're familiar with this. I know you do this a lot. They have you in this meeting today. What advice can you give me for what to look for to prove?
I really can't give you legal advice. I mean, that's something you'd want to check with your accountant or I could just explain to you why I'm leaning towards the decision that I am, and it's based
Sure.
on the evidence we have on the Schedule E. And so you'd have to find something that was more clear and convincing than a signed Schedule E showing that.
Sure.
I don't know.
So in the past, what have people been able to present to you that has been successful?
Yeah, probably that's all over the board, but I don't know if I ever remember doing an Airbnb one with a homeowner's exemption. So there's really no precedent. That's why we have to go on the statute and the standard of proof. At this point, I mean, we need to make a decision today, one way or the other. And, once that's finalized, you do have a chance to appeal, and that's where you can dig up that new evidence, but it'd be at the district court level. You'd have to have a judge review ours. But there you'd have to meet this standard of proof we're talking about. And I really can't advise you on what, that's like going into court and asking the judge, what do I need to bring in to show me innocent? The judge isn't going to tell you that.
Yeah. Well, and I get where you're coming from. I'm just asking for you guys to be on my side versus, the opposite side where I'm trying to come back. I'm not trying to have a get rich quick scheme off my home. It's not. And that's all I'm asking,
I don't think we're looking at it that way. We're looking at it, you've got an exemption that has certain standards under the statute and we have to enforce those. You know, there's a lot of different exemptions. Homeowners is one of them, but there's a standard that you have to meet to get the homeowner's exemption. You know, there's other things like ag exemptions. You have to meet certain criteria to get an ag exemption.
Sure.
The exemption is something you have to meet the statutory requirements to get it.
Sure.
I take my hat off to you for your ingenuity of making money on your house when you're gone. Hoping you don't rent it out that much and have to fix it up when you get back, but.
Well, in that case, are you guys okay if I just mute for a second and ask my dad real quick if there's anything?
Yeah, if there's anything he wants to say though, you will need this on the record,
Sure.
you know.
Let me just call him and then I can, if we just go mute for a second, I can talk to him and then jump right. I mean, I'll leave my video on. All right, there. I wasn't able to get a hold of him there. But okay. Do I have till the end of the day to get you guys some documentation then, or what is the?
But we could do a continuance of this and not make the decision, and give you a couple days.
Sure. Okay.
But we'd have to recess it to a time certain.
Yeah, that's fine with me. And then I just wanted to be clear from earlier about the, because Mary Lou was explaining that she had to file the tax lien. So when I
Intent to lien.
intent to lien, just so we're clear, my email from Commissioner Reed says, please wait for further correspondence before taking any action on your part. Because this is a delay on our end, we can delay the requirement for the assessor to record an intent to lien.
That's correct. That's what I told him, and that's what I assumed would happen.
I do believe that I said that I have 30 days and I have to file an intent to lien. And it says right here. Oh, statute 63-701. I can't remember which one it is. B, C, D. Okay. 30 days after the taxpayer is notified as provided in subsection 5A of this section, the assessor shall record a notice of intent to attach a lien. I'm just going off what the statute said. So it is not a lien. It's an intent to lien. If you don't pay it, then there will be a lien. When it goes on the tax roll in September of 2023.
I understand that may be the statute, and I'm fully aware that we have to follow entirely by the statute. I was under the assumption that where we asked for continuance, or reconsideration of this, that delayed. That was my assumption. I may have misunderstood, Weston, and I may have told you wrong. I apologize if I did. From what I'm understanding, it would not stay on any public record. It would not come back to him in any way.
Unless he doesn't pay it.
Unless you don't pay it and the actual lien is applied. So I don't think there's any harm to you at all by this. But I admittedly misspoke because I just assumed that's what would happen. And I did tell our assessor that when I spoke to Blake Mueller. I told him that I would indicate that it would be delayed. I did not, and there was no guarantee from our assessor that that would be the case. I just told our assessor that was what I was going to indicate. So I apologize if I spoke wrong on that.
And then what you're saying, Mary Lou, is the tax lien isn't effective till 2023? Does that mean I don't have to pay it till 2023, or what do you mean?
An intent to lien goes on the tax roll a year from a year after the normal tax roll comes out. So it's September of 2023 that the lien will go on the tax bill.
If I haven't paid it by then?
If you pay it before then I remove it, and there will be no public record of it.
Okay. Okay, so what sounds like if I can come up with proof that I lived there in the next 2 or 3 days and get it sent to you guys, then it can change. If I don't, then I'll just pay the $5,500 or so dollars.
Let's schedule a time, so we kind of have a deadline, Wednesday morning at 9:30. Would you be able to zoom in on that?
Is it possible to just do it over email? Is that possible?
Yeah, but you'll just have to take we'll schedule it to make a decision, but we'll have to base it on what you send.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
Some of the things that would help would be a copy of your Schedule E's for both those years.
Okay.
And your total tax return, you can redact the numbers. But, we need to see the Schedule E and see how you were treating this as a rental. If you took a full year depreciation, for example, versus a part year depreciation. Because we're going off an email from the state that said you filed it that way. I just didn't see the Schedule E, so we can evaluate that ourselves. Any other proof that would show that you were there up through at least the first part of July of 19?
Sure.
Anything you can provide that would help convince us of that?
Sure.
Of course, I have a question on the part-time, because when you file as a part-time resident in California, you're going to have to show the X number of days where you filed Idaho returns, and X number of days you file as a part-time.
Sure. Okay.
So
and the only reason I ask for emails is tricky for me to get on Zoom, because where I'm in California, I only have my lunch time to really do this from my school. That's why it's tricky. So if the email works, that just is easier for me.
Okay, if you'll get those in before we meet Wednesday morning at 9:30.
And then who can I send those to? Straight to Commissioner Reed?
Just send them to me and I'll get them.
Send them to COMSEC, COMMSEC, like Commissioner Secretary, COMSEC at co.bonneville.id.us.
Okay. And then if I get something that works for 2019, that year could be exempt still, and then we can just go from 2020 forward, or.
Take a look at it. I'd like the Schedule E for both years.
Sure.
Just to be fair. Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Weston.
Yep. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks.